Hey YouTube, it's UA from the Strictly Broken YouTube channel. Today I want to showcase my favorite clan, my favorite premium, just my favorite clan of all time. Pale Moon, the premium deck that I played. Me and Nikki Goldman, SBTCG sponsored player, we were gonna play this all of last year, 2020. Had COVID not kind of ruined our plans to be able to play events. I played this last year at Worlds too, and like in BCSs as well. I'm super into the clan and the concept of this. This is the Songster loop. So for everyone getting into premium right now, I know getting into premium is like the cool thing to do right now as a Vanguard player. And yeah, if you want to play something that's degenerate, that's kind of like Clark Clan's Ironworks combo from Modern, or Storm or Exodia. Like you want to play this. It's not that much fun for your opponent, to be honest. But if you want to like win, if you want to play something like very competitive, like this deck is actually like a top tier deck, one of them at least right now. So yeah, this is the profile for it. Starting off, Songster loop. You're gonna play 4 Songster. This card basically enables all your loops. This is not the video where I'm gonna explain, describe, or showcase the combo, but I can make a separate video if you guys want to see how to basically perform the combo optimally. Uh, but this card enables the combo because this card is what creates that kind of infinite generating attacks. Basically, what it comes down to is you ride this, then you basically do like 50 plus attacks, maybe it's like 30 or whatever, but it's a lot of attacks, and your opponent will die because the attacks are all 33, 33, 33, and then 53, 53, 53, and then they die. So yeah, this card enables all of it with its skill. You can search it up. It's like when something attacks and it's boosted, you can suck both up. You can suck 2 rear guards up to call something. So it's just, you read that and it just screams infinite combo. So super important, basically the bread and butter of the deck. 1 copy of this Tricky Assistant. So there's a card called Honolly, and Honolly ruins your day because it makes you pay an additional counterblast just to attack with your rear guards after the 5th battle and onwards. So you need to play Tricky Assistant to suck up your opponent's Honolly when it's on the field. You can even float this out in battle phase. If they have a G guard that can summon the Honolly during the battle phase, you can also float this out mid battle to suck the Honolly back into the soul. So super important as a one-off. You don't need to play more because you just need it for that fringe situation. Not everyone even plays Honolly for that matter. So you really just don't need more than 1. That's it for grade 3s. You want to maximize. Basically, you want to maximize the situation of when you don't have a grade 3 that you can G assist for Songster. And if you play more, then the chance that you have a grade 3 is higher. So you don't want to play too many. Grade 2s, more cards that enable combo when basically your opponent is trying to deny you to go infinite. Like, you're gonna go infinite when certain conditions are met. One of the conditions is to have 3 counterblasts, and your opponent, if they're good or they know what your deck does, they're gonna try to stop that, or they can try to just rush and kill you, which is another way to try to stop it by just you're dead. But Bobo and Seesaw help you get the 3 counterblast so that you can kill your opponent. You can enable Bobo very easily if you have access to Zazon, which is the card that everyone screams is crazy in premium, but you only have 1 because it's at 1. So you have to find a way to get the Zazon into your soul, and then you can start using Bobos before you stride. And then other than that, I play 2 copies of this card. Is basically like a reinforcement of the army, Rhoda. But it Rhoda's at the soul. So when you play, you counterblast 1, and you put a card from your deck into your soul. It has to be grade 2 or lower, but you can put your stand trigger, which can then put anything. So if you have GB, you are actually just Rhodaing for anything in your deck. And I only play 2 because like just hard drawing the stand trigger with something to suck it up is also a Rhoda. So you don't need more. You don't need too many of this. If you're getting counterblast starved, this card's not even that great. But you can ride it as an 8K, so you can swing under 9K Vanguards, and yeah, it's still fine. You're gonna play a couple copies, but you don't want to maximize on it because after the first copy that you see, seeing like multiple is kind of bricky. Then we got 4 Peritons and 4 Trapezists. Besides Songster, I guess I'm gonna throw this out too. The 2 copies of the tier. These 10 cards are the essential pieces of going infinite. Periton calls out Trapezist or tier, and then you just go and then you Songster to redo it over and over and over and over again, looping out a certain rear guard or a certain couple rear guards that swing big because you have 4 face-up cyclones, and your opponent just dies. The combo itself is actually kind of complicated, But once you get the hang of doing the combo, it's just a very simple game plan. Like you meet the requirements and your opponent is dead unless they hit unless they hit 5 defensive triggers. But if your opponent hits 5 defensive triggers, they deserve to win the game, honestly, because that is not reasonable. Like it's not like every game that people can hit 5 defensive triggers in one turn. So yeah, these are the combo pieces. I don't want to go too much into combo. I can make a separate video showing the combo, but actually explaining combo is very complicated. It's better to have a visual for it. The one copy of Zazon. Zazon's at 1, so you play 1. You draw this card, it's like an auto win button basically. As long as you have 2 vanillas, it's basically auto win. But other than that, your whole deck's goal is to get to the Zazon so that you can flip Craze for free basically. And Zazon even creates some extra attacks in itself when you're using it during battle phase. So good stuff. Yeah, you play the 1 copy. You have these to get it. You have the stance to get it. You can use a stance to get Zazon if you use a Tempest Sphere in advance. So that's another way to get Zazon. Or hard draw it, you know, opening hand. You have 5 mulligans to try to find it. 8 vanillas. Oh, no, sorry, not 8 vanillas. 6 vanillas, 4 8Ks, and 2 7Ks. A lot of times people will talk about in premium the concept of swing under, so that you can not give damage, but still get your drive check, so you're plus. But unfortunately, like in this deck, the 8K is just that much better than the 7K because you can loop it on your Excel circle for 13, and then plus your Cyclone stacks, it's like 33, which is a super relevant number against Force. So I prefer to play 4 of this straight up. You have 6Ks, like 6K galores here, 2 swing under. So I think 4-2 is best. Basically, because when you in the early game, if you have to guard with this, you're losing copies of it, and you still need to keep some copies so that you can send it to Soul to do loops on 4 stacks. So you do need to play 4 of this. This card as a 7K can still swing under, so you still play 2 of it. And yeah, other than that, there's Zazon fodder to call. 15K shield cards that are Zazon fodder to call is just pretty good. You rarely see games where vanillas are so important, but in this deck, your vanillas are extremely important for Zazon and looping. For orders, I played 2 copies of the Halo, the Bangle. Bangle's really good. Like you draw Bangle in the early game. It's another way to look for Zazon. Another way to it's basically like -1 pot of dualities for anything off the top 3, and that's pretty good because the cost is also to put a card from your hand to Soul, so it also can trigger your stand if you Tempest Sphered already. And just speaking of Tempest Sphere, I'm going to show it. Tempest Sphere is a great way to get vanillas to your hand. It's a great way to enable the GB, so it enables Bobo, it enables the stand. Yeah, but Bangle, like you don't need like Tempest Sphere as good as it is. You don't need 4, right? Because orders are once per turn. What you really need is the ability to have like access to 1 Tempest Sphere eventually, and then a great way to do that is also just to have Bangles. So you can go like Bangle check 3, maybe you can find Sphere, and then Bangle check 3 next turn, or maybe find Sphere that way, instead of just playing 4 spheres, hard playing them. It also costs CB, right? So if you don't have 2 CB, you can't even use 2 spheres. So I like the 3 and 2 just because Bangle can find like a lot of Bangle can find Bobo. Keep that in mind. It's great. So yeah, that's the order cards played, and then triggers. The stand. This card is absolutely crazy. It's what makes you. It allows you to go infinite basically because if you can keep like 3 stands in your deck, you can just the stand. You can just put. You can use the effect to put itself back in the deck, but you don't have to put something from deck into Soul. So when you just start soul charging with the Periton that you're going infinite with, it doesn't like deplete your deck to nothing because you have the stand to kind of back up the fact that you can always have at least the stands in deck. And then you can go for 1 big final swing, Songster attack, or double stand, and get 1 more big swing. Once everything's said and done, you run out of soul. So stand is super important. Games that you can sometimes lose is when you like damage check or have like extra stands in hand that can arise sometimes while you're looping, or you just damage check like 2-3 stands. It's like, or you have to guard with stand early game to survive. Those are the games that you might lose. Sometimes you can even kill people before you get to the deck state of being like 1 card left, 2 cards left. But definitely there are decks that you can survive pretty long into your combo, and you might need all your deck to be able to kill them. Other than the stands, it's 4 of these vanillas. Can I even go further enough into this? I think I can. 4 of these vanillas and 4 heal. So 8 vanilla draws, 10k defensive draws, fantastic. Offensively triggering them is also great because you get to like get extra cards. So you can find more vanillas, find more pieces and everything. I don't play PGs if you notice, because the deck's goal is often to keep your opponent at 0 damage and then just 0 to 6ing them with full combo. So you don't need PGs. PGs is not a vanilla, right? So you can't do Zazon plays with the PGs, and PGs are also like, and PGs are not the greatest cards in the early game, right? Because you have better cards to guard that swings with that don't cost 2 cards to guard with, and by the time you get to like stride situations, you should really never have to get to stride situations because you can often just kill them, loop them before they stride. And sometimes if they do stride, their stride is super gimped because they don't have CB to do it. They have to draw like a Bobo to even try to kill you. So yeah, you don't actually need to play PGs, and you just want to maximize the chance to get vanillas. And then finally, starter, draw starter. Draw starter. I used to play a starter that checks top 5 for grade 3, but you really don't need to anymore because Zazon lets you draw 2 cards. B, you have, I mean, you can just G assist for the grade 3. The deck doesn't care if it takes a minus, like G assisting or V assisting, because once you get full combo, your opponent's dead, and your hand size doesn't actually matter. So G assisting is perfectly fine for the grade 3. You don't need to play that starter, and this starter gives you 1 more draw, so you can sometimes draw the grade 3 with just the draw effect. Ever since they added the quick shield text to these starters, it's like they're like blown out of the water. When you go second, you just get an extra shield, extra 5k shield, and it's actually like such a big deal in the early game. So yeah, I play the quick shield, 1XL. If you have to get to the second one, like it's actually just win more. So I just always hold on to 1XL too. But you go with XL2 because you can draw a piece, but you can technically also just XL1 and you get extra a little bit of power on your swing. You can go to 38 or 37. So yeah, but you should, if you go to a tournament, you should definitely bring more than one. G Zone for Cyclones. Cyclone gets flipped off of Zazon, and it gets flipped off of Tempest Sphere, and it makes all your vanillas big. This is how you can make columns that are 33 on your Excel circle, or 53 when you do a combo that gets you the whatever it's called, this vanilla, plus a 5k trigger, so you're swinging 53 in the rigor column. This card is basically, ever since, we used to have to loop with Artilleryman, but ever since this card came out, we don't need Artilleryman anymore, because it makes all our vanillas into mini Artillerymen. 1 copy of Mirandol if you need to stride and flip 2 Cray Elementals to enable tier. You only need 1 because this is usually going to flip a Cyclone. And if you need to stride, like, you rarely actually stride anymore because of how broken Zazon is and the ability to enable your combo pre-stride. But if you do need to stride, you're usually doing this. If you do need to sub-breeze, because it's a Cray, you also have access to it. It's just a, sometimes you'll need to sub-breeze, and if you sub-breeze, you can flip the Cray, double G-Guard into combo. So yeah, and then the rest of the G-Zone is just G-Guardians. Most of them are Cray G-Guardians, so if you're at grade 3 and you can't combo yet because you drew like pretty bricky, you can use Cray G-Guardians to flip Cray Elementals. So you have 2 copies of Raptome, which filters your hand. 2 copies of this for specifically Ballad in the Arena, the whale the whale progenitor dragon from Blue Clans that can really rain on your parade, because the whale can actually force like a lot of kills on you because you can't actually guard the whale. They can just like guard break the cards you try to guard with. So you have to make Dismal because Dismal has resist against the whale. So yeah, that's first. But this card is like only for the whale basically. And 1 of this for 25k shield, Cray Elemental, 1 of this for Vanguard swings and getting more shield. And then a couple non-Cray G-Guards, 2 copies of this dragon. It's your biggest G-Guard, which is super unfortunate because Pale Moon just doesn't have a lot of good G-Guards, but this is your biggest one. It could hit 35 if you're guarding with heal that's in your soul. So for surviving purposes, you need to play this. If you use your starter, that's 30k shield. 30k is not bad, to be honest, so can't complain. 1 of this, so like if you had Strode, or if you're on grade 3 and you already can flip all the Crays, but what you really need is a piece to go full combo, you can just go with this to find a piece. And then finally, 1 copy of this card, which is a 35. Its effect is like very fringe because like if you have Songster, it's not gonna go to your soul, So you have to have like a tricky assistant in Soul for this to get its full shield value. But it is like pretty big. I think it's 35, right? 15k. No, it's actually only 30k. So it's actually not even that big. But it's a 30k G guard that can flip a Cray because it's a flip G guard. So sometimes it will come up where you need to use this for that 30k. It's like pretty fringe. In decks like, oh, that glare is horrible. Let's move these here, I guess. So that, like, yeah, in decks like decks that really don't require their strides, but just have like this insane kill potential, like you're gonna play more G guards than actual strides because your strides don't matter and your G guards are what help you survive, and just having that flexibility is valuable. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. If you want to, again, if you want to play premium, if you want to play something a little bit degenerate and have your friends not want to play premium with you, you definitely want to pick up this deck. But if you love Pale Moon, like this deck's a super fun deck to play. Honestly, it's so, the combos are so fun to make, and I'm a big fan of playing this deck. Probably not casually, probably only for tournaments, but the combos are just absolute delight to see your opponent just go from 0 to 6 every game. Yeah, that's it for the profile. If you have any questions on the deck, ask them in the comments. I'll happily answer them. If you want to see how to do the combo, I can absolutely make a follow-up video showcasing it. It's, yeah, it would just be like me probably playing a couple games maybe, and explaining like what is going on basically. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification bell to stay notified when we post new videos. That's it for this video. Peace.